All right, so one of the questions that I get asked a lot is about what pronation is. So we hear a lot about, oh, you have to pronate more in your smash, or you need more pronation for that drop shot, etc. So today I want to explain what pronation is and hopefully walk you through some steps to help you learn to pronate properly and understand where it's used, things like that. So pronation is just internal rotation, essentially, of the forearm when we talk about it in badminton. So when we talk about it in badminton, we're just talking about specifically the pronation of the forearm. So imagine that you have a doorknob, a round doorknob that you have to turn. Sort of this internal rotation, so going from outside to inside. So that, when we're talking about pronation in badminton, in the stroke, it's pretty much always the forearm rotating. And that rotation ends up turning the racket head. So to learn how to pronate properly, I'm just gonna have us start with our forehand grip. So we should all know that grip by now. Finger cross, thumb across, loosen the hand. And I want us to lift the racket up in front, and we're gonna cock the wrist slightly, just so there's some angle here between our forearm and our wrist. And then I just want us to go from here, pronate inwards. So just that rotation there. So you'll notice my arm is staying straight, but my racket head is moving. So I'm not bending my wrist at all. My wrist is staying perfectly straight. It's just my forearm rotating. So that rotation is our pronation. So from here, we've got this nice pronation happening, but where we really use it is in the overhead. So when we're up here. So this part of our stroke up here, I'll back up so you can make sure you see where the pronation is used. And actually, I'll adjust the camera slightly so you can see a bit more of the racket. None of you wanted to look up at me that closely. Okay, so pronation, so we have this rotation happening. We reach above our head, we see the racket head moving, right? So that's our pronation. So a lot of times what you'll see is the pronation combined with the extension of the elbow. So you'll extend the elbow and then you'll pronate. So this rotation up here, so this rotation of the forearm here, that's pronation. And that pronation happens all the way so that our racket ends up pointing sideways. So I know that a lot of times we talk about contacting the shuttle flat. And this is very important because we don't want to just pronate here and go all wild, right? We want that pronation to happen with the extension of the elbow so that when we reach full extension, our strings are facing forward. So imagine with me that the net is in front of us here. We're starting in our ready position. And from here, all we're going to do is just drop the racket, rotate our upper body so we're square to the net, and we're going to extend and pronate. So that's all I want us to do. So very, very simple. Now we'll imagine the net's here so you can just get a different angle. So we're just going to turn, so we're square the net, we're going to let the racket drop behind us, we're going to extend the elbow and pronate into the shuttle. Very simple. That's all it is. So at full extension, our wrist is neutral, our arm is straight, and we've now added the squeeze of the fingers to really generate power. If you're not sure about how to use the finger squeeze, I have other videos that explain that in more detail. But basically, it's these three fingers squeezing the grip to help speed up the racket. Okay, so we're going to combine the extension of the elbow with that pronation and the squeeze. So that's our contact. The rest of the stroke just adds fluidity to that and adds a little bit of power, right? So we start with our back foot, we get that rotation of the body, we get that elbow up high, then we squeeze, and then the follow through just helps take the pressure away from the arm, right? So we've contacted the shuttle, we've finished our pronation, and we follow through across the body. So again, if the net's here, we're here, we contact, the racket follows through, finishes the pronation, and then comes across the body. So we're here, contact, relax, and across the body. So very important that this pronation, the contact of the shuttle, this part of the stroke is straight, right? We need the racket to travel straight into the shuttle, but the rest of the stroke, after we contact and everything else, then we can get this more pronation. So we get the thumb up, so the butt of the racket facing forward. We extend and pronate, contact the shuttle, finish the pronation, so the thumb is pointing down, follow through across the body. So again, we get this rotation that's happening out in front of us, up here, so just our forearm, and then we add a little bit of extension. So if the net's here, it looks like this, boom, and across the body. Hopefully that adds some explanation, some understanding to pronation. The other area where pronation is used slightly is in the forehand lift. So when we're catching the shuttle out in front of us here, we're pronating the forearm and squeezing, getting this stroke here. Here in the forehand lift, we don't want to over-pronate because we don't want this to happen, right? We want just enough pronation so we come straight in the shuttle and then we follow through straight. So we pronate, we contact, we're using the pronation to help speed up the racket head, but then our follow through is straight with the shuttle. Hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, let me know. Cheers.